Hey, hi, hello, it's Crystal and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year, everyone. It is the start of 2024. Well, the first Saturday of 2024, and I could not be any more excited for the new year, especially since last year was a bit of a roller coaster. So I'm starting off the new year on a positive note. I'm really excited for what is to come this year, what the Lord has in store for me, and hopefully you guys are excited for what the Lord has in store for all of you. With that being said, I wanted to take this time to reflect on last year, talk about my ups, my downs, and all the in between. Well, not all the in between, because if I did, this would be probably a 30-minute long video or longer. Basically, I just want to reflect on last year and praise the Lord for everything He did and getting me through last year to be able to make it to this year. I'd say probably the 3 lessons that God taught me last year are definitely to trust Him and to trust His timing. I cannot rush anything that He has for me. No matter how many times I have tried, last year was a big one where He showed me that I cannot rush anything that He has for me. The second thing that God has taught me is, well, I guess it's both what He's teaching me and also what my parents and my family are teaching me, is a lot of finances. One, to trust my finances with the Lord. I have such a bad habit of spending my money on unnecessary things. Literally, I have my whole bookshelf to my left, to you guys would be your right, just overflowing with books. I need a new bookshelf. I also like to buy a lot of clothes. I spend a good amount of my money on clothes, and time again, especially last year, towards the back end of last year, I had major instances where I needed to pay huge amounts of money. The two instances that happened towards the back end of 2023 was when I hit a deer and I needed repairs for my car. Me hitting a deer, that's a whole different story in itself that I won't get into that much in this video. But yes, I needed repairs for my car. Thankfully, the insurance covered it and I only had to pay the deductible, but still, that was a huge chunk of my paycheck just gone. And the second thing that I had to pay was the repairs for my car's brakes. So all in all, I practically put almost $1,000 into my car towards the end of the year. And currently, I'm broke. I don't get paid until next week, but lesson learned, I need to save, I need to build a budget, and more importantly, trust my finances to the Lord, because He is our only provider. But I also have to put in the work to build a budget and to save up what I am earning. And the other big lesson, but I feel that this one is going to be an ongoing lesson for myself, especially since I am thinking about going into the teaching profession, is patience. I remember specifically praying to God. This was when I was still working at my retail job, but I remember asking God to give me patience, or to give me different opportunities to show patience. And lo and behold, the job that I'm working in does require for me to have a lot of patience and a lot of empathy and compassion for my students. Primarily patience, because these are kids. They're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and it is I'd say probably their first times being in, well, if they're in kindergarten, then yes, it's their first time being in school and having that set schedule of like instruction and whatnot. But first and second grade, it would be their second and third time. But even more so too, these are children. They don't sit still, they talk out of turn. They just want to know and explore and not be in their seats, if that makes sense. So having a lot of patience is what is needed to be in the teaching profession. No matter what grade level you're teaching, whether if you're in elementary school, middle school, or high school, you're going to need a lot of patience to teach these students. And in more ways than none, God has definitely hit me in the face with being patient, with having to be patient. Sometimes I wonder if God is up in heaven laughing and being like, you prayed for this, now you're getting this lesson. And the reason why I say that this is going to be a lifelong lesson, it's because I plan on becoming a middle school English teacher, more specifically a 6th grade English teacher. And kids in middle school, especially in 6th grade, they are going through changes, they're going through puberty, hormones are going to be flying all over the place. So that is going to be a challenge within itself. So that's why I say it's going to be a lifelong lesson, because of the grade level that I plan on teaching one day, hopefully within the next 2 years. Lord, please. So patience has definitely been a big theme from last year coming into this year, and I can definitely see it moving forward. However, not everything was a lesson last year. It took me all year to realize that God answered one of my prayers. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. When I was at community college, I had 2 distinct big friend groups. My friend group at my community college and my young adult friend group that met every Friday at my home church. When I left for school, or when I was getting ready to leave for university, those friend groups disbanded. And so I was pretty much left with maybe 1 or 2 friends, but even those friends never really kept in touch with me when I left. I would come home, or when I came home for the holiday season, no one would reach out to me, no one would ask to hang out or pretty much be with me during the time that I was home. I was literally alone. Even during COVID, while yes, I did make some friends at work, I don't really consider those friendships because we were all in the same building during COVID and we had one thing in common, and that was working at the same retail store. Anyway, during COVID, I didn't have a friend group to talk to. During COVID, that was a time when my mental health took a big plummet because we were all on lockdown. We couldn't go out anywhere. We couldn't see anybody unless we were socially distanced. COVID was a hard time for me. So when I was getting ready to leave for Iowa, I prayed that God would send friends my way, which he did. I made friends while I was at university, but those friends all live in Iowa. So it's not like I can hang out with them and see them every weekend. Technically I could, but it's a 3-hour drive there and a 3-hour drive back. When I graduated from Iowa, December of 21, I prayed that prayer again. Yes, I thanked God that I finished my education, I got my degree, and that I can hopefully start working in the career field that I got my degree in. But I also remember praying to find a group of friends who are not only passionate about their faith, but also have some of the same interests as me, like reading or anime or writing or any form of creativity. I wanted to have a friend group who hung out with one another, talked to each other, prayed for one another, was there for each other, checked up on each other, did fun stuff together. And for all of 2022, I was still alone. I had my boyfriend, yes. I had friends that would come and go, yes, but I didn't have that stable friendship that I was looking for. Wasn't until this year where those friendships actually started to form. I'm gonna get emotional thinking about it. Little by little, I started making friends at my church. All my age, all around my age, all in my age group. I started talking to a girl that I had met the previous year, but didn't really connect with until the beginning of 23. During the time where I didn't have a job, we would hang out at her house. We would talk. She would check in on me every so often. And she has become one of my closest friends. Mid-year, or I should say about late September, early October, I met another girl at my church who is a part of the worship team. I would see her every now and then, and I would want to talk to her, but I have no idea what I would say. Until finally we were introduced, we started talking, and we became fast friends. She's another person that I would consider a close friend of mine. 2 other girls from my church have walked into my life. One of them, she absolutely loves reading just as much as I do. She reads some of the same genres that I read, and we've had extensive conversations about books that we're reading, stuff that we're looking forward to read. I am even helping her out with her book club podcast, as well as helping her out with her social media stuff. Her and I have definitely become book best friends, and I am so excited for that. And the other woman, young lady that has walked into my life, she started a movie club where myself, her, and a few others that she's invited, we can go to her apartment and we can watch movies together. And when the movie's done, we can talk about the movie and just hang out as a group, as well as a few other ladies that have walked into my life and have become some of my closest and dearest friends. It took me all year, all of 2023, to see that God has answered my prayer of friendships. And it's nice to say that I'm walking into 2024 with a solid group of friends who not only have some of the same interests as me, but also are passionate about the Lord and will read scripture with me, we'll pray for each other, we'll hang out, we'll talk, we'll check in. I finally have the friendships that I've been looking for. That is probably the biggest blessing that God gave me last year. And it literally took me up until December 31st to realize that blessing. So overall, I am grateful for everything that I went through in 2023. I have no regrets from that year, none whatsoever, because it is all leading up to what God will do this year. Last year was definitely I believe my word for last year was trust. And that happened. This year, I'd say my word will be execute. Execute in a way that everything that God did, everything that He started putting into motion, I have a feeling it's going to snowball, tumbleweed into this year. Meaning, God's plans for me, we're going to execute together. God and I are going to work together on whatever He's got planned for me this year. In other words, it is time to build. It is time to start stepping more into faith and build what He has in store for me. Build the friendships that formed last year. Build my relationship with Him so much more. And build my future career with Him. My future career as a middle school English teacher with Him. Those are the 3 big things from last year that are going to be built into this year. And obviously, continue to build my relationship with my significant other. We will be together for 4 years in May. This year is going to be a year of building and executing everything that God has placed for me. Build off of from last year into this year. So no, I do not have a New Year's resolution. I do not have any goals. Well, I do have goals, but they're monthly goals. But no New Year's resolution, no year goals, just 2 words, execute and build. Because what God did for me last year is what's going to be built off of for this year. And I am so excited I'm just excited for it all, for what the Lord has in store for me this year. Because last year was interesting. This year, with the Lord, it can only get better. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Please give it a like, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your word of the year is. Or if you don't have a word, let me know what your New Year's resolution or your New Year's goals are. Please leave that in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I will see you next week with a brand new video. Bye.